Hello students, in the previous class we have discussed about the plant cell and animal cell. Now in this class we are moving on to the descriptions of cell contents. So whatever the structures which are present within the cell, each and every structure we need to discuss. So in that, first we are going to start with the cell wall. In the previous class only you have drawn the plant cell. In that plant cell you have shown the characteristic feature of plant cell is that the presence of cell wall. Yeah, we can find the presence of cell wall in bacteria, algae, fungi and in plant cells. So we'll see what is this cell wall. A cell wall is the non-living and the rigid structure. So cell wall is a non-living and rigid structure which forms the outermost boundary of the cells in case of algae, fungi and in plant cells. So what is actually a cell wall? Cell wall is the non-living and rigid structure which forms the outermost boundary of the cells in case of algae, fungi and plants. So in algae we can find the presence of cell wall, even in fungi and in plants, in all plants the characteristic feature only the presence of cell wall. So that is what we are going to discuss now. And the chemical composition of cell wall is also very important. When we observe the chemical composition of cell wall in case of algae, so I am talking about in algae, the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, galactans, mannans and calcium carbonate. So in algae, the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, galactans, mannans and calcium carbonate. Whereas in case of plants, in all plants, the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectins, lignin, suberin and proteins. So generally you know that in plant cells the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, but not only cellulose. In plants the chemical composition may vary. Generally it may contain cellulose, along with cellulose it may contain hemicellulose, pectin, lignin, suberin and proteins. And in case of fungi, here the fungal cell wall is mainly made up of chitin. The chemical composition is very important. So in fungi, the cell wall composition or cell wall is mainly made up of chitin, which is also called as fungal cellulose. Actually, it is a polymer of N-acetyl glucosamine. So what is that N-acetyl glucosamine? Everything you can study in the biomolecules chapter. Now you just remember the chemical composition in different cells. So as I said, in algae the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, galactans, mannans and calcium carbonate. In plants the cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectins, lignin, suberin and proteins. But in fungi the cell wall is mainly made up of chitin, which is also called as fungal cellulose. Do you remember the chemical composition of bacterial cell wall? Yes, you can remember better. So in bacteria the cell wall is mainly made up of peptidoglycan or mirin. So every time the cell wall composition is varying, that you should remember. So this is the chemical composition. Now we will see the different layers of cell wall. Actually, this cell wall, it is differentiated into 3 layers. So cell wall is mainly differentiated into 3 layers. So which can be the middle lamella. The first one is middle lamella. Let me write here only. So cell wall is differentiated into 3 layers. One is called as middle lamella. Second one is called as primary wall. and the third one is called as a secondary wall. So these are very very important. If you understand these three, you can understand about the cell wall. So here cell wall is basically differentiated into three layers. One is called middle lamella, primary wall and secondary wall. We will take one by one. So first we will take up the middle lamella. Middle lamella. So what is this middle lamella? Actually it is thin, viscous and cementing layer. Middle lamella, it is a thin, viscous and cementing layer. As the layer is very thin, it is said to be thin. Viscous in the sense it is somehow sticky and it is like a cementing layer. I will tell you how it is considered as a cementing layer. You just remember the middle lamella, it is a thin, viscous and cementing layer between two adjacent cells. You cannot simply say that it is a cementing layer. You must say that it is a cementing layer between two adjacent cells. Now look at the diagram. So this is a typical plant cell. I have taken only the cell wall. I have not taken the plasma membrane or any other components which are present within the cell. I am just showing the cell wall. Here you can look at the black color outline. So this is actually the middle lamella, and here one cell is there. Even if we draw one more cell or few more cells, here in all cells we can find the presence of this middle lamella. That's why if you observe, if you take these two cells or if you consider these two cells, between these two cells there is a cementing layer called as middle lamella. That's why I called it as a middle lamella, cementing layer between two adjacent cells. Yes, this is the middle lamella, which is the cementing layer between two adjacent cells. Like for example, if you take two rooms, here this is one room and this is one room. These two rooms are connected. They are joined at the common wall. So this is the common wall between two rooms. So here this wall is built with the help of bricks. So this brickwork, what you can see, or when you look at the two rooms, there is a common wall between the two adjacent rooms. I am talking about adjacent rooms. So this is the one room. Adjacent to this room there is another room, and in between these two rooms there is a common brick wall. So what the common brick wall you can see between the two adjacent cells, that is what we consider as the middle lamella. I am just comparing this middle lamella to the common brick wall between two adjacent cells. Try to understand. Like the brick wall which is present in between the two adjacent cells, likewise there is a cementing layer between two adjacent cells. Again, so these are the two adjacent cells. There is a cementing layer. Again, in between these two adjacent cells, there is a common wall. The common wall that is called as cementing layer, it is called as middle lamella. And do you know, this middle lamella, it is the first formed layer at the time of cytokinesis. Later in the next chapter you will come to know, in the next chapter means in the cell cycle and cell division chapter, you will understand. So during cell division includes two main stages. One is karyokinesis. Other one, cytokinesis. See for example, if this is a single cell, so this cell, during the division of this cell, it undergo both karyokinesis and cytokinesis. So what is, let us consider the plant cell. So this is the plant cell. So this cell has to divide. So during that division, it will undergo karyokinesis and cytokinesis. So here first, the nucleus will divide into two. Initially, the nucleus divides into two. So this division of nucleus is called as karyokinesis. Later, the division of nucleus is followed by the division of cytoplasm. Here all over the cell you can find the presence of cytoplasm. Initially only nucleus divides, later the cytoplasm divides. That division of cytoplasm is called as cytokinesis. These are very important. Try to remember, karyokinesis is nothing but division of nucleus, whereas the cytokinesis is nothing but division of cytoplasm. But here, in order to divide the cytoplasm, nucleus is divided, but in order to divide the cytoplasm, here there will be a formation of cell plate. There will be a formation of cell plate, and this cell plate is accumulated with calcium and magnesium pectate. Calcium and magnesium pectate. So if it is accumulated with calcium and magnesium pectate, now this is called as middle lamella. So that middle lamella, it is the first formed layer at the time of cytokinesis. That also you should remember, because in the next chapter you will be studying all these aspects in detail, so that you should remember. So middle lamella, the chemical composition of middle lamella is very important. It will be asked in our examination also. So you should remember the chemical composition of middle lamella is calcium and magnesium pectate. So what I told now, middle lamella, it is the thin, viscous and cementing layer between the two adjacent cells, and it is the first formed layer at the time of cytokinesis, and it is just like the brick wall between two adjacent rooms. And what is the main function of this middle lamella? Here also you can observe the black colored outline. What you can see, it is the middle lamella. Then what is the main function of middle lamella? So this middle lamella, it will tightly hold the cells together. It will tightly hold the cells together. If there is no middle lamella, cells cannot be there in their original shape. They may be moving apart. But here the cells are tightly holded together with the help of middle lamella, and the chemical composition again important. Here the middle lamella, it is made up of calcium and magnesium pectate. So this much we can able to know about middle lamella. It is a thin, viscous, cementing layer between two adjacent cells. Chemical composition is very important. Now we will take up the next layer, that is primary wall. So next one is primary wall. Yeah, this primary wall, again it is also a thin layer, and it is the first layer which is laid inner to middle lamella. Now look at the diagram. Here you can see the middle lamella. It is formed at the time of cytokinesis only, and it is accumulated with calcium and magnesium pectate. Now inner to this middle lamella, there will be a formation of one more layer. This is called as a primary wall. You may be thinking that I am saying inner to middle lamella, but here you think that it is outer to middle lamella. You cannot think like that, because in this cell, this is the middle lamella. Inner to middle lamella, there is a primary wall. Again, if you draw one more cell, for this cell, this will be the inner layer. Primary wall, it is always formed inner to middle lamella, because in all cells are held together with the help of middle lamella, and inner to middle lamella, see, inner to middle lamella, there will be a formation of primary wall. So here also the primary wall is accumulated. Here also the primary wall is accumulated. So this primary wall, it is inner to this cell, and this primary wall is inner to this cell. That's why I am just saying the primary wall which is laid or formed inner to primary wall, and it is the first formed layer inner to primary wall. Then is there second formed layer? Yes, of course, that we will talk about later. So primary wall, it is the first formed layer inner to middle lamella. Then this primary wall, it is usually thin, elastic and permeable. Like a middle lamella, the primary wall is also very thin and it is elastic. It can be expandable and it is permeable. Permeable in the sense it will permeate or it will allows the molecules to move in and out of the cell. So it can move in and out of the cell, so that movement can be permitted by the primary wall. And the chemical composition of primary wall is that it is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. So what is a primary wall? This primary wall, it is the first formed layer which is laid inner to or which is produced inner to the middle lamella, and this is a very thin, elastic and permeable in nature, and the chemical composition of primary wall is that it is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. Here I have drawn a green colored outline that is inner to middle lamella. So here also there is a green colored layer, primary wall inner to this layer. Here also one green colored inner wall called as a primary wall inner to this cell. And next one is a secondary wall. So all these three layers are very, very important. So the next one is a secondary wall. Yeah, secondary wall, this one, it is very thick. See, when we look at the thickness of a primary wall, the primary wall which can measure about 0.1 to 3 micrometers, whereas the secondary wall, it can measure about 3 to 10 micrometers. And this secondary wall, it is formed inner to primary wall. Now look at the diagram, you can understand better. You can observe the middle lamella, which is the first formed layer at the time of cytokinesis, and it is accumulated with the calcium and magnesium pectate. Now inner to middle lamella, there will be a formation of a first formed layer called as a primary wall, and this primary wall is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. Again, inner to this primary wall, there will be a formation of one more layer called as a secondary wall. So this one is called as secondary wall. Not only this side, even this side also there will be a formation of secondary wall. Try to understand the secondary wall. It is very thick. It is usually very thick and it is accumulated or deposited inner to primary wall. So first middle lamella, then primary wall, then secondary wall, and you should draw these layers towards inwards, towards inside to the cell. So that is you should remember. And this one, actually this secondary wall, it can be seen or it is found usually in some mature plant cells like cholenchyma, sclerenchyma, cork cells and xylem cells. So in the plant anatomy chapter, you will come to know what is cholenchyma, what is sclerenchyma, what are the xylem cells, everything you will come to know. So only in certain mature cells only we can find the presence of secondary wall. And you can easily observe, you can easily distinguish whether in this plant, whether it is a primary wall is there or secondary wall is there. For example, if you take a young stem which is green in color, if you bend that plant or bend that stem, if it is easily bending, it is having only primary wall, and that primary wall is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. You take another hard stem which may not be in green color. If you try to bend that stem, it will break up. It will break up. It means it is made up of a secondary wall, and this secondary wall is made up of pectin, lignin and suberin. The chemical composition of secondary wall is that it is made up of pectin, lignin and suberin. Due to the deposition of pectin, lignin and suberin, it provides mechanical support to the cell. Why? That stem is very hard because of the presence of secondary wall, and that secondary wall is made up of these pectin, lignin and suberin. That's why when you try to bend the stem, it will break up as it is very hard and very rigid. And this is the secondary wall. It is the additional wall present inner to primary wall, and there may be many secondary walls. Here you can see one secondary wall. If you find many secondary walls, they can be given as S1, S2, S3, etc. But primary wall, it is always a single primary wall, but there may be a possibility for many secondary walls. So now this one, it is S1, this is S2. If you draw one more, it is S3. Likewise, there may be many secondary walls, and these secondary walls are accumulated with either pectin, lignin or suberin, and they usually provide rigidity and mechanical support to the cell. So that is about a secondary wall. Then here you can observe some gaps. So the cell wall, it is not continuous. Middle lamella is continuous because it is formed at the time of cytokinesis only. But later the primary wall and secondary walls are formed inner to middle lamella. But in this cell wall, the middle lamella is continuous, but the primary and secondary walls are absent somewhere. So these are the regions in the cell wall. In the cell wall have some pit-like apertures. There are some openings called as plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata. So in between the cell wall, where the primary and secondary walls are not accumulated, that pit region or that aperture is called as plasmodesmata, through which the cytoplasm of the adjacent cells are connected with each other. See, here also there is a presence of cytoplasm. Here also cytoplasm is present, and the cytoplasm of this cell can be connected with this cell with the help of the plasmodesmata. So plasmodesmata, it is considered as the cytoplasmic bridges. Cytoplasmic bridges between the two adjacent cells. Because here through this plasmodesmata only exchange of materials will be taking place. For example, from this cell some molecules can enter into this cell, at the same time some molecules can enter into this cell. That exchange of materials can be taking place only with the help of plasmodesmata. That's why plasmodesmata is considered as cytoplasmic bridges. Plasmodesmata. So these are very important for the exchange of materials. So this is about the cell wall. Let us recall the few points that we have discussed. So what is a cell wall? Cell wall, it is the non-living rigid structure which forms the outermost boundary in algae, fungi and plants. In algae, the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, galactans, mannans and calcium carbonate. In plant cell, the cell wall is mainly made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, pectin, lignin, suberin and proteins. Whereas in fungal cell wall, the chemical composition is chitin. In fungi, the cell wall is mainly made up of chitin, are also called as fungal cellulose. And the cell wall is mainly differentiated into three layers. The first one is middle lamella, second one is a primary wall, and the third one is a secondary wall. So what is middle lamella? Middle lamella lamella, it is a thin, viscous, cementing layer which is present between two adjacent cells. And it is formed at the time of cytokinesis. It is just like a brick wall between two adjacent rooms. Then what is the main function of middle lamella? It will tightly holds the cells together. And the chemical composition of middle lamella, it is made up of calcium and magnesium pectate. You should remember the calcium and magnesium pectate is the chemical composition of middle lamella. Then primary wall. So primary wall, it is the first layer formed inner to middle lamella. Inner to middle lamella, and it is usually thin and elastic and permeable. As it allows molecules in and out, it is permeable in nature, and the chemical composition is cellulose and hemicellulose. Then secondary wall. Secondary wall is very thick. It measures about 3 to 10 micrometers, and it is formed inner to primary wall. Inner to middle lamella, we have primary wall. So here we can see primary wall, and inner to primary wall there will be a secondary wall, and this secondary wall can be seen in some mature cells. Because in young cells there will be a presence of only primary wall which is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose, whereas in mature cells we can find the presence of the secondary wall, and this secondary wall is made up of pectin, lignin and suberin, which usually provide mechanical support to the cell, as it is additional layer, and there may be possibility of many secondary walls. Then what is a plasmodesmata? Cell wall having some pit-like apertures through which the cytoplasm of adjacent cells are connected. So these cytoplasmic bridges are called as a plasmodesmata, mainly helps in exchange of materials between the adjacent cells. See here also, these two adjacent cells, they may contain the plasmodesmata, and these two cells contain plasmodesmata. There are one to many number of plasmodesmata can be seen through which the exchange of materials will be taking place. Then what are the functions of cell wall? So there are some uses or some functions of cell wall that we should know. Here, cell wall, it maintains shape to the cell. Why plant cell is like this, hexagonal or polygonal in shape? Because of the cell wall. How the cell wall is accumulated? So because of the accumulation of cell wall only, the cell will have a particular shape. So that is very, very important. The cell wall, it always helps to maintain the shape of the cell. And cell wall, it provides mechanical support to the cell. As cell walls are accumulated with pectin, lignin, suberin, etc., they provide mechanical support to the cell. And cell wall provides rigidity. Why the cells are rigid in nature? Because of the presence of cell wall, and they prevent osmotic bursting of the cell. Osmotic bursting. So what is this osmotic bursting? See, for example, when the cells are kept in water. For example, you may have seen in your home, if some dried peas, if you soak in water, they will absorb water. That is called as imbibition. They will imbibe water, they will intake the water. And if they take too much water also, there is not a problem for the seeds, because if they take excess water, they may burst out, isn't it? Like for example, if you fill the air to the balloon, it can hold the air as much as it has the volume. If you fill more air, it will burst out. Likewise, even if more amount of water and molecules enters into the cell will not burst. It will maintain its shape and rigidity because of the presence of cell wall. So as a cell wall, the chemical composition of cell wall, they will provide production and they will prevent the osmotic bursting of the cell. If any excess molecules are entered into the cell will not burst. Instead of that, the cell wall will be preventing that osmotic bursting. Then this cell wall, it will protect the cell from viral infections, bacterial infections and fungal infection. Usually, the plant diseases are usually less in number because of the presence of cell wall. As the cell wall is present, the viral, fungal and Bacterial infections are less in case of plants. Then it helps in exchange of materials between the cells. As with the help of plasmodesmata, the molecules can be moved in and out of the cell. And it also helps in cell-to-cell interaction, and it acts as a barrier for some undesirable macromolecules. Whatever the required molecules that can be allowed into the cell, but the cell wall, it acts as a barrier. Barrier in the sense it will prevent certain undesirable molecules. If it allows all the molecules to enter into the cell, then the diseases can also be seen in plants. So that's why certain undesirable macromolecules will be prevented with the help of cell wall, and it helps in cell-to-cell interaction in the sense so the molecules will be moving across all the cells from one cell to another cell, that is called as a cell-to-cell interaction. These are the functions of cell wall. The first function is that it maintains a shape to the cell, and it provides mechanical support to the cell. It provides a rigidity and prevents osmotic bursting of the cell, and it protects the cell. Cell wall protects the cell from viral, bacterial and fungal infection, and it helps to move molecules in and out of the cell, and also helps in cell-to-cell interaction and acts as a barrier for undesired macromolecules. So this completes the cell wall. And in the next class, we can take up the cell membrane, that is inner to cell wall. There is a plasma membrane, cell membrane, that we can discuss in the next class. Now we will discuss few objective questions related to today's class. So the first question, which is the thickest wall layer? Option A, middle lamella. Option B, tertiary wall. Option C, primary wall. Option D, secondary wall. So which is the thickest wall layer? The secondary wall is the thickest because it can be of many layers, and the thickness is also 3 to 10 micrometers. That's why the secondary wall is thick. Option D is correct. Next question. Cell wall was first studied by option A, Bonner, option B, Strasburger, option C, Robert Hooke, option D, Fleming. So cell wall was first studied by Robert Hooke only. So that history you have seen, and there I have not mentioned about the cell wall. Even the cell wall is also studied by Robert Hooke. Next, third question. Ripening fruit becomes soft due to option A, dissolution of pectate of middle lamella, option B, conversion of starch into sugar, option C, jelly formation at acidic pH, option D, incorporation of pectin in middle lamella. See, as I said, this middle lamella is made up of calcium and magnesium pectate. When you look at the raw mango it is usually hard because of the calcium and magnesium pectate which holds the cells tightly together. But when that middle lamella, the calcium and magnesium pectate which are present in the middle lamella, when they try to dissolve, the partial dissolution of calcium and magnesium pectate in the middle lamella, it helps for the ripening of fruits. You should know this. Why the raw mango becomes a ripened mango? Because initially the calcium and magnesium pectate, they were present, they hold the cells together. But later the calcium and magnesium pectate will be partially dissolved so that the fruit will be ripened. So here the correct option is dissolution of pectate of middle lamella. Next, fourth question. Rigidity in the cell wall is due to option A, cellulose, option B, suberin, option C, lignin, option D, pectin. Actually, rigidity is usually from the lignin. So because of the accumulation of lignin, the rigidity will be seen in cells. Next question. The phragmoplast are the precursor of. So phragmoplast. So this term you will heard in the chapter cell cycle and cell division. Option A, cell plate. Option B, chloroplast. Option D, chromoplast. Option D, leucoplast. Actually, at the time of cell division, if this is a plant cell, I told you initially the nucleus divides into two, later followed by the division of cytoplasm, that is called as cytokinesis. But at the time of cytokinesis, here The cell plate is formed like discontinuous fragments. These are called as phragmoplasts. Later, they will join to form the cell plate. So, phragmoplasts are the precursor for cell plate that you will study in the chapter cell cycle. So, this much we can able to study about the cell wall. It is very important. You should note down all the points in your notebook.